One of the things I find interesting about you, Anthony, is that based on the way you talk, a lot of people would expect you to be a Bitcoin maxi. And if people don't know the definition of that, and there's probably a few, but it probably means that you think the world revolves around Bitcoin and the only thing that should exist on blockchain is Bitcoin. Just to tell everybody, I first bought my first Bitcoin in 2013 when I had Max Kaiser on my show here in London. And we had a whole yelling match about Bitcoin. He ended up becoming a good friend, him and Stacy, and I was on his show. But he still refuses to come back on my show lately because I talk about other things besides Bitcoin. And I do love you, Max, if you're watching. And so I'm curious why you aren't a maxi. I know that you have been amassing a pretty big Solana position, I think since last year when you went in as early as like $48. And I know you were a little bit disillusioned with Ethereum in the last year. I wonder if you could just talk on the fact that you're not a maxi and what you do think of other blockchains and some of the controversy of people that don't believe maybe they should exist.
Yeah, it's a great question. So first, maybe we should talk about like what happened when a blockchain was created, right? There's a double spend problem and a blockchain got created. And the best way I know how to describe what a blockchain actually is if four people sit down to play Monopoly and you kind of put your money out in front of you. If you ever play with a child and they put the money underneath the table, all of a sudden everyone's like, hey, put the money back up here. I don't even know if you're doing anything wrong. Just make sure the money's on top of the table. So blockchain kind of has this transparent ledger to it. And as we play, if I just have a yellow legal pad next to me, every time that somebody pays somebody else, I just write it down. 1041, Brian pays Anthony $100. Anthony pays Brian $200, 1042. And every 10 minutes, I just rip the paper off. It's got all the transactions and we just stack them on top of each other. At any point, we can go into that stack and see what transactions happen. That's all a blockchain is. And so you're batching every 10 minutes, all the transactions that occur, and it's making sure that no one's double spending the money in the game. Now, the reason why that is important is because money was the first use case, Bitcoin. And I think that it kicked off a monetary revolution. The ideas of a programmatic monetary policy, the idea that you could have sound money principles in digital form, the idea that you could have this kind of non-sovereign store of wealth that anyone could access anywhere in the world as long as they had an internet connection, regardless of wealth, sex, education, location, etc. That type of thing is the winner of that monetary revolution. But simultaneous is people have figured out how to use that same piece of technology to kick off a technology revolution. Best example you can see that is stable coins. And so what I think ends up happening is people who believe in Bitcoin believe that Bitcoin is the winner in the monetary revolution. I agree. In that case, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. I think that Bitcoin wins the monetary revolution. But I think that there is a technology revolution. And if you think about kind of a database, the database was able to revolutionize money. The US dollar today exists in a database form. The dollar won the monetary revolution because of the use of the database and has become dominant in the United States simply because we had one currency that was the winner. Databases are used for a lot of other things in technology. And so that technology revolution is a whole different thing. It's like trying to compare Amazon to gold. It's trying to compare Google to oil. The technology company is trying to do something completely different than money. And so I think that if Bitcoin is the winner in the monetary revolution, there will be winners in the technology revolution. But just because they have a shared piece of technology as the underpinning foundation, it doesn't mean that if you support Bitcoin, everything else is going to be worth zero. And so what I usually tell the Bitcoin maximalists that I talk with, who at times I actually agree with a lot of what they say. The one thing that I disagree with is Bitcoin is going to win that monetary fight, but there are going to be other things that use this technology that are going to be valuable. It doesn't mean that if you're a Bitcoin maximalist, you got to buy the other things. It just means that now you should probably be careful about claiming everything else is going to zero. And so in that world, I think that people can either choose to participate or not. That's the beauty of free markets, right? You can believe in Bitcoin and participate, or you can believe in Bitcoin and not participate. But some of the most hardcore Bitcoin maximalists that I know, what they will say is, I'm all focused on Bitcoin. It's a focus thing. Bitcoin is the thing that I want to accumulate, that I want to build around, that I want to have a company on, etc. All that other stuff, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I'm just not focused there. I think it's a very rational perspective to take. If you go and you look at that other bucket, the things that make something work in technology and become attractive are very different than what makes money attractive. Money is attractive because it stores value, or it is easily used as a medium of exchange. It's very cheap, it's fast, it's global, etc. In technology, it's all about performance. And so things like decentralization become way less important. But if you want to have a non-sovereign money, you better be decentralized. Because guess what? People are trying to hack Bitcoin every single day, all day long. Nation states, different groups, individuals, etc. But imagine if Amazon was decentralized. It would defeat the whole purpose of having a highly efficient hierarchical structure, which allows you to press a button on your phone and have something delivered in an hour. You need efficiency. You need performance. And so if you go and you look, you mentioned Solana. The reason why we've built such a big position there is we just think it's cheaper and faster. And so we think that that is going to be the winner in terms of this cycle's, kind of smart contract platform. I also think that the second best product market fit product in crypto is stablecoins. So Bitcoin is by far got the best product market fit. Stablecoins have the second, and there's going to be a smart contract winner. And people are going to do all kinds of crazy stuff on top of that. Whether those things work or not, doesn't matter. They're going to want block space on one of these blockchains. And so if you just look at that universe as Bitcoin, stablecoins, and a smart contract platform, that's not that crazy, right? That is kind of a limited universe. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, which in my mind, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. It's kind of experimental. I don't want to spend time on it because I'm focused on the three things that I think are currently working that seem to be the best risk reward. And so my message to Bitcoiners is you're right. You got the Bitcoin thing right. Look at where we were 15 years ago. Look at it today. Larry Fink's on television saying you're right. Congratulations. Do not get your feet stuck in cement. Understand that the world is continuing to evolve. If you said Bitcoin is going to be the only thing that is going to be valuable, and you still deny that stable coins are valuable globally, then you are just denying reality. The data is overwhelming that stable coins. The beauty of using stable coins in that example is that stable coins are a non-controversial thing because it is just taking a fiat currency, putting it onto a blockchain. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's able to be used in a transparent ledger. And so people don't feel like somebody created the stable coins and are enriching themselves at the expense of retail. There's kind of a moral component to it that is not usually assigned to all of the altcoins that ends up actually kind of breaking that framework. And so if you think that Bitcoin's going to win and you accept that stable coins are valuable, then the natural progression is there's probably going to be other things. And you can critique the fact that you don't like somebody created an altcoin that they kept 30% of the supply. That's a fair critique. But you can critique that while still admitting, you know what? There's a lot of developers building on top of that piece of technology. And so it's kind of like, do you want to be right or do you want to make money? And one of the things I love about the Bitcoiners is they actually want to be right. Right? The whole making money thing is, it's nice, but a lot of them make decisions and talk publicly because they want to be right. And so whether you agree with them or not, you got to respect it. There's not a lot of people still willing to say, you know what? I don't care if I make money or not. I want to be right. And takes a very special type of human. And so I think that, the Bitcoiners provide this great service to the world. They provide a lot of learning and kind of intellectual combat, especially online. Things are going to win or lose based on whether they have merit, whether they actually solve someone's problem. Doesn't matter what the Bitcoiners say. And frankly, what the Bitcoiners say or don't say about these pieces of technology isn't going to matter for the outcome of those technologies. And so when you view that, you just got to ask yourself, what do I want to focus my time and energy on? For me, I've created a very specific kind of box. That's what I focus on. For some Bitcoiners, they say, you know what? It's just Bitcoin. Got to respect that too, right? And it's all about what makes them happy? What do they think ends up being the best use of that time and energy? And so, I don't think that these views of the world are as at odds as maybe, people want to kind of evaluate. But let's see, stable coins could fail tomorrow, right? Other things could fail tomorrow. We just don't know. And so only with the benefit of hindsight will we really know who was right and who was wrong.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
know investing crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.